A lot of cars these days come with Apple Carplay or Android Auto integration, which allows you to transform your manufacturer's user interface into something designed by Apple or Google. It's a lot more user-friendly when it comes to, text messages, phone calls, music, navigation, compared to what you get from your manufacturer. But in a lot of situations, you have to plug your phone in wired in order to use this feature. So in this Mercedes GLA, we have to plug our phone in to actually take advantage of Apple CarPlay, and it's great for responsiveness and being able to keep your phone charged, but it's not the best for mobility or passing your phone around the vehicle. But there's finally a fix out there from Carlinkit in order to convert this wired setup into a wireless one. So here we have the Carlinkit 4.0. It allows you to transform that wired setup into something completely wireless. So in this small little box is an adapter that transforms that wired input into a Bluetooth connectable setup that you can just connect your iPhone or Android device to your vehicle over Bluetooth rather than having to plug in. So let's get this thing unboxed, show you what it looks like, pretty much the simplicity of the design, and then of course we'll put it to the test and connect it to our car. So once we get this thing unboxed, we get a very, very simple and easy to understand instruction manual, like 5 mini pages long. To get the gist of it, all it is plug your the adapter into your vehicle where you typically plug in the phone, connect your phone via Bluetooth, and then you're pretty much set up. And it also has some troubleshooting steps in there as well. So here we have the actual Carlinkit 4.0 device. Very small, has a both USB Type A and USB Type C connection in order to plug this thing into your car. In the majority of situations, vehicles these days come with USB-C. So we have both a USB-C to USB-C adapter as well as that USB-C to USB Type A adapter as well, which means you can pretty much plug it in to any vehicle. So now we're in the car, we've gotten our lightning cable out of here, and it's USB to USB Type-C in order to plug this thing into our Mercedes GLA. And all we're waiting for is the red light to turn on to show that we're ready to actually start CarPlay with the Carlinkit device. So as soon as we plug this thing in and it turns to this red light, we can see on our built-in display that we can accept the CarPlay terms of service. We can accept and start. It starts Apple CarPlay, and we boot into the Carlinkit screen that asks us to connect to the Carlinkit 4.0. So now all I have to do is go into my phone's Bluetooth settings, find the name that it lists on the screen, connect to it, and say allow CarPlay. And that's pretty much it. We're now connected to that Bluetooth Carlinkit adapter and now streaming Apple CarPlay to our vehicle. And it's super, super responsive, which you'll see here. Pretty much zero input latency compared to what I was getting with the wired setup. Like very difficult to notice any difference when it comes to scrolling or clicking or anything like that. Sometimes animations might take a little bit longer or might be a little bit laggy because we are streaming those from the device. So that might be a little bit slower compared to a wired setup. Overall, extremely difficult to tell and a very, very nice way to do this integration wirelessly. Now, the one thing I might have had a little bit of difficulties with was I purposely tried to disconnect my phone. And you can see here, this is either a Mercedes thing or a Carlinkit thing, or maybe it's just a bug, but the CarPlay screen stayed up, frozen, and covered the actual user interface of the Mercedes system, which just required me to actually unplug the Carlinkit box in order to get this to come off of the screen. I think you're bound to have these types of issues with this wireless type of adapter, but the simplicity of actually fixing it is very, very nice. Just unplugging it, plugging it back in as you would typically do with other IT devices. So no real concern there. And once we do get it unplugged and we just plug it right back in, we're off sailing again. You just have to connect your phone. You've already made that Bluetooth connection, so it's just reconnecting to it from your history. And it's as simple as letting the Carlinkit box boot back up into the Apple CarPlay settings, connecting to it, and that's it. And we're back into using Apple CarPlay wirelessly. And if you want to, you can kind of go back and forth. You can bring this device with you and you know you want to use it wirelessly. You can bring your wired connector as well, depending on if you need to charge up. Overall, this is just a really nice adapter in order to be able to kind of use it whenever you need to, or whatever situation you might want to use CarPlay in a wireless setup. I also wanted to put to the test actually turning the vehicle off and then turning it back on, which you'll see in a little bit. And it's very smooth in terms of the transition. As soon as we turn the vehicle off and turn it back on, our phone automatically reconnects Bluetooth to the Carlinkit CarPlay box and knows it's in CarPlay mode, and everything works flawlessly. So there might be a few hiccups here or there, but it's as simple as unplugging and plugging back in, and you're back off to the races. In terms of price on this thing, you're looking at $100, so not super expensive, especially when you're looking at converting from a wired to wireless setup. And you can also use the link in the description down below with the code TRUE, just TRU, to get 15% off your order. Back in the day, I actually used another Carlinkit product to actually transform my Audi A3 to be able to use Apple CarPlay. Like, it didn't have it built in, so it completely transformed the user interface. With this setup, you're just going from wired to wireless, and for $100, it's a really nice addition to the vehicle that doesn't require you to make any hardware changes or anything like that. It's just plug and play. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.